Never chase, never beg, never explain. The Stoic code of absolute power. Stop chasing people who are running away from you. Stop begging for attention from people who have already decided not to give it. And stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. If you have ever found yourself sending message after message because someone stopped responding, if you have ever tried desperately to convince someone of your worth, if you have ever explained your intentions again and again because someone judged you unfairly, then this message is for you. Subscribe to this channel for more Stoic philosophy, powerful life lessons, emotional strength, and practical wisdom, and stay until the end, because the final principle may completely change the way you deal with people. There is a different way to live. A quieter way. A stronger way. A way where your peace does not depend on who stays, who leaves, who approves, who rejects, or who understands you. The Stoics understood something that many people learn only after years of disappointment. You lose your power when you make your happiness dependent on someone else's response. That is why the Stoic code can be summarized in 3 powerful rules. Never chase. Never beg. Never explain. These rules are not about becoming cold. They are not about pretending you don't care. They are not about treating people badly. They are about knowing your value without needing someone else to confirm it. Let's break down what these principles really mean. Lesson 1. Never chase what doesn't choose you. There is a difference between pursuing something meaningful and chasing something that continuously rejects you. A Stoic does not waste his life running behind people who repeatedly demonstrate that they do not want to walk beside him. Think about how exhausting chasing can become. You send the first message. Then another. You wonder why they haven't replied. You check whether they're online. You create explanations in your head. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they're angry. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they will respond tomorrow. And suddenly, someone else's silence controls your entire emotional state. That is not freedom. The Stoics believe that your attention is one of your most valuable possessions. So ask yourself, why give unlimited attention to someone who gives you almost none? If someone wants to be in your life, you should not have to constantly convince them. If someone values your presence, you should not have to beg for basic respect. If someone wants communication, you should not have to chase them endlessly. Let people reveal their intentions through their actions. Do not force an answer. Do not force affection. Do not force friendship. Do not force love. And most importantly, do not force yourself into a place where you are clearly not wanted. Sometimes walking away is not losing. Sometimes walking away is finally choosing yourself. Lesson 2. Never beg for attention. Attention given freely has value. Attention obtained through begging does not give you peace. Imagine constantly asking someone, "Why don't you call me? Why don't you text me? Why don't you care? Please don't leave. Please give me another chance." There may be moments in life when vulnerability and honest communication are necessary. But there is a point where communication becomes desperation. And desperation makes you surrender your emotional stability to another person. The Stoic asks a different question. Why am I asking someone to give me what they clearly do not want to give? You cannot force someone to appreciate you. You cannot negotiate someone into loving you. You cannot argue someone into respecting you. You cannot beg someone into genuinely choosing you. And even if you succeed temporarily, you will always wonder whether they stayed because they wanted you, or because you convinced them not to leave. Your goal should not be to make people stay. Your goal should be to become strong enough to remain peaceful whether they stay or go. Lesson 3. Never explain yourself to everyone. This may be one of the hardest Stoic lessons. Because when someone misunderstands you, your natural instinct may be to defend yourself. You want to explain. You want to prove your intentions. You want them to understand your side. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Some people genuinely misunderstand you and are willing to listen. Explain yourself to them. Have the conversation. Communicate clearly. But other people are not looking for understanding. They are looking for ammunition. You can explain yourself 10 times and they will simply find another reason to criticize you. The Stoic understands that there is a difference between clarifying yourself and defending yourself against every opinion. You don't have to attend every argument you are invited to. You don't have to respond to every accusation. You don't have to correct every rumor. You don't have to prove your innocence to people who have already decided you're guilty. Sometimes your behavior over time will explain you better than your words ever could. Let your character speak. Let your consistency speak. Let your results speak. Let time speak. Lesson 4. Your silence can be a form of strength. Silence is often misunderstood. Some people think silence means weakness. It doesn't. Sometimes silence is self-control. When someone insults you, your first instinct may be to respond immediately. But Stoicism teaches us to create space between what happens and how we respond. Someone provokes you. Pause. Someone misunderstands you. Pause. Someone disrespects you. Pause. Someone tries to pull you into drama. Pause. That pause gives you something incredibly valuable. Choice. You don't have to react simply because someone pushed a button. You decide whether the situation deserves your energy. Remember, a person who controls your emotions controls part of your life. So stop handing that control away so easily. Lesson 5. Stop trying to control other people. One of the central ideas of Stoic philosophy is understanding what is within your control and what is not. You control your choices. You control your actions. You control your response. You control your effort. You control your attitude. But you do not control another person's feelings. You do not control their opinion. You do not control whether they love you. You do not control whether they respect you. You do not control whether they stay. And you certainly do not control whether they understand you. So why spend your life trying? Imagine standing at the ocean and commanding the waves. Stop moving! The ocean doesn't care. You can scream at it. You can become angry. You can cry. But the waves will continue. People are similar. You cannot control everyone. But you can control how you stand when the waves arrive. That is where your power begins. Lesson 6. Never chase validation. A dangerous addiction exists that doesn't come in a bottle or a pill. It is the addiction to approval. You post something and immediately check who liked it. You say something and wonder who approved. You accomplish something and need someone to congratulate you before you feel proud. You dress well but still need someone to tell you that you look good. You make progress but still compare yourself to everyone around you. This creates a prison. Because the moment your confidence depends on external approval, someone else gets the key. Stoicism teaches you to build an internal standard. Ask yourself, did I do what I believe was right? Did I act with discipline? Did I keep my word? Did I improve today? If the answer is yes, you have something worth being proud of. You don't need applause from everyone. Lesson 7. Let people walk away. One of the hardest things to accept is that some people will leave your life. And sometimes they should. We often hold on to people because we fear the emptiness their absence will create. But emptiness is not always a punishment. Sometimes emptiness is space. Space for growth. Space for better relationships. Space for peace. Space to rediscover yourself. If someone chooses to leave, let them. Do not humiliate yourself trying to stop someone who has already decided to go. Wish them well. Learn the lesson. And keep walking. The Stoic does not say, I don't need anyone. The Stoic says, I can love people without becoming dependent on their presence. That is emotional freedom. Lesson 8. Don't confuse love with self-abandonment. You can love someone deeply and still maintain your dignity. You can care about someone and still have boundaries. You can miss someone without chasing them. You can forgive someone without allowing them to repeatedly hurt you. You can want someone without making them the center of your universe. Real strength is not becoming emotionless. It is learning how to experience emotions without becoming their prisoner. The Stoic doesn't destroy his heart. He disciplines it. He doesn't stop caring. He stops allowing care to control every decision. Lesson 9. your value does not decrease because someone rejects you. Rejection can feel personal. But rejection is often simply information. Someone says no? That doesn't mean you're worthless. Someone doesn't choose you. That doesn't mean you're unworthy of being chosen. Someone doesn't understand you. That doesn't mean you're impossible to understand. Someone doesn't appreciate you. That doesn't mean you have nothing valuable to offer. One person's inability to recognize your value does not erase your value. A diamond does not become worthless because someone refuses to buy it. So stop allowing rejection to become a verdict on your identity. Sometimes rejection is simply redirection. Lesson 10. Stop over-explaining your decisions. You don't need a courtroom defense for every decision you make. If you decide to protect your peace, you don't need to write a 10-page explanation. If you decide to leave a toxic situation, you don't need everyone's approval. If you decide to change your life, people may question you. Let them. Your life is not a democratic vote. You are responsible for living it. Listen to wise advice. Consider criticism. But don't surrender your judgment to public opinion. The more secure you become internally, the less you feel the need to announce every decision. Move quietly. Build quietly. Improve quietly. Let your life eventually become the explanation. Lesson 11. Never chase closure from someone who hurt you. Sometimes we believe the person who hurt us must be the person who heals us. We wait for an apology. We wait for an explanation. We wait for them to finally admit what they did. But what if they never do? Will you remain emotionally trapped forever? You cannot build your peace around an apology that may never come. Sometimes closure is not something someone gives you. Sometimes closure is a decision you make. You decide. I learned what I needed to learn. I accept what happened. I refuse to let it control my future. And you move forward. Not because it didn't hurt, but because you refuse to keep hurting yourself by reliving it. Lesson 12. Don't chase people who only value you when you're useful. Pay attention to patterns. Who calls you when they need something? Who disappears when you need something? Who celebrates you only when you're successful? Who supports you when things become difficult? A Stoic watches behavior. Words are easy. Patterns are harder to fake. Don't chase people who remember your name only when they need your help. Healthy relationships have reciprocity. You should not always be the giver. You should not always be the one initiating. You should not always be the one apologizing. You should not always be the one repairing everything. Know the difference between patience and self-neglect. Lesson 13. Discipline your need to respond. Not every message deserves an immediate answer. Not every insult deserves a comeback. Not every criticism deserves a defense. Not every disagreement deserves a debate. Before responding, ask, will this improve my life? If the answer is no, silence may be the better choice. This doesn't mean becoming passive. There are times when you must speak. There are times when you must establish boundaries. There are times when you must defend yourself. But do it from composure, not emotional chaos. A controlled response is stronger than an uncontrolled reaction. Lesson 14. Build a life you don't need to escape from. The strongest way to stop chasing people is to become deeply invested in your own life. Work on your body. Develop your mind. Build your skills. Improve your finances. Strengthen your character. Spend time with people who genuinely care about you. Read. Learn. Create. Exercise. Pray or reflect if that is meaningful to you. Build something. When your life has direction, you stop obsessing over who is giving you attention. You become busy becoming someone you respect. And that changes everything. Lesson 15. Become comfortable with being misunderstood. One of the prices of individuality is being misunderstood. If you always need everyone to understand you, you will eventually betray yourself just to gain approval. You will change your personality. You will hide your opinions. You will compromise your values. You will become whatever people want you to become. And eventually, you won't recognize yourself. The Stoic accepts that some people will misunderstand him. He doesn't enjoy it. but he accepts it. Because peace comes from knowing who you are, not from making everyone agree with you. Lesson 16. Don't announce every move. There is power in privacy. Not everything needs to be posted. Not every plan needs an audience. Not every goal needs to be announced. Sometimes you tell everyone what you're going to do, receive temporary excitement, and then lose the discipline to actually do it. Instead, work quietly. Let people see the result. You don't need to announce the construction of the building while you're still laying the foundation. Build first. Speak later. Lesson 17. Walk away without revenge. When someone hurts you, revenge can feel satisfying. But revenge often keeps you emotionally connected to the person who hurt you. You're still thinking about them. Still planning around them. Still trying to prove something to them. That's not freedom. The ultimate response is not revenge. It is indifference. Not hatred. Not bitterness. Just peace. You move forward and become better. Your success doesn't need to be a weapon. Your happiness doesn't need to be a message. Your growth doesn't need to be revenge. Lesson 18. Never beg someone to see your worth. If you have to repeatedly explain why you're valuable, you're speaking to the wrong audience. Your worth isn't something you negotiate. You demonstrate it through your character. Through discipline. Through integrity. Through how you treat people. Through how you handle adversity. Through what you build. Through who you become. And remember, the right people won't require you to destroy your dignity just to keep their attention. Lesson 19. Learn to walk away from the table. Imagine sitting at a table where you're constantly disrespected. You keep eating because you're afraid there won't be another meal. But eventually you realize something. You would rather leave hungry than stay somewhere that destroys your dignity. This applies to relationships, friendships, business, work, social circles. Sometimes you have to leave the table. Not because you think you're better than everyone, but because you finally understand that your peace has value. Lesson 20. The ultimate Stoic power, self-mastery. And now we reach the heart of the entire message. The real meaning of never chase, never beg, never explain, is not become arrogant. It is not become heartless. It is not ignore everyone. It is not never apologize. It is not never communicate. The real lesson is never abandon yourself in order to keep someone else. That's the code. You can love without chasing. You can ask without begging. You can communicate without over-explaining. You can apologize without humiliating yourself. You can care without becoming dependent. You can walk away without hatred. You can remain kind without becoming weak. You can be powerful without becoming cruel. That is Stoicism. The Stoic code of absolute power. So remember these 3 principles. Never chase. If they don't choose you, don't force them. If they walk away, don't run after them. If they stop communicating, don't destroy your peace trying to restart the conversation. Give people the freedom to reveal where they stand. Never beg. Never beg for love. Never beg for attention. Never beg for respect. Never beg someone to recognize your value. The moment you have to repeatedly beg for something fundamental, ask yourself whether you are trying to obtain something that should be freely given. Never explain. Clarify when necessary. Communicate when valuable. Apologize when you are wrong. But don't spend your life defending yourself against every opinion. Your character will eventually speak louder than your explanations. Final message. There will be people who leave. Let them. There will be people who misunderstand you. Let them. There will be people who don't appreciate you. Let them. There will be people who underestimate you. Let them. Your job is not to convince everyone. Your job is to become someone you can respect when you are alone. Because at the end of the day, the most important relationship you will ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. So stop chasing. Stop begging. Stop over-explaining. Stop handing your emotional power to people who haven't earned it. Stand still. Breathe. Think. Choose your response. Build your life. Protect your peace. And let people make their choices. You make yours. The Stoic does not demand that the world behave according to his wishes. He trains himself to remain strong regardless of what the world does. That is the real power. Not controlling other people. Controlling yourself. Not making everyone love you. Becoming someone who doesn't need universal approval. Not forcing people to stay. Being strong enough to let them go. And not proving your worth to everyone. Knowing your worth when nobody is watching. So the next time someone pulls away, remember. Don't chase. The next time someone refuses to appreciate you, don't beg. And the next time someone deliberately misunderstands you, don't waste your entire life explaining. Stand with dignity. Walk with purpose. Speak when necessary. Remain silent when silence is wiser. And keep becoming stronger. Because the ultimate Stoic does not say, "Everyone must choose me." He says, "I choose myself." And once you truly understand that, you become very difficult to manipulate, very difficult to break, and very difficult to control. That is the Stoic code. Never chase. Never beg. Never explain. Master yourself, and you will never need to control the world. Call to action. If this message spoke to you, don't just listen to it, practice it. The next time you feel the urge to chase someone, pause. The next time you want to beg for attention, pause. The next time you feel compelled to explain yourself to someone who has already judged you, pause. Ask yourself, is this protecting